right. How's everybody doing today? Good? I know it's cold out there, isn't it? Well, Florida it is. All right. But you're here with me. We'll try to entertain you and educate you at the same time, okay? My name's Edward. I am one of the animal keepers here at Rafikis Planet Watch, and I get to work with some very cool animals over here. Today, I brought one of these reptiles I work with. You guys like reptiles?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. There's one very enthusiastic fan right there of reptiles. Cool. Now, there's 4 main types of reptiles in the world. Let's see if we can name all 4 of them and hit the one I got in the box. What is a type of reptile? Anybody? Lizards. Very good. Guess the big kids can participate too. Hey, lizards. That's actually what I got in my box. Very good. Good guess. We'll bring out that lizard in just a second. But what are the other 3 types of reptiles? I think I heard it. Snakes, right? Everybody's favorite reptile. Right? I know there's some people afraid of snakes. Don't run away. Remember, I have a lizard in the box here, not a snake. All right, we got 2 more to go. Anybody else? What's that? Did you guess? No? Any other guesses out there? 2 more types of reptiles. We got lizards. We got snakes. What are the other 2 types of reptiles? What's on your shirt? Gators, alligators, there we go, alligators and crocodiles. Yeah, that's probably the most famous reptile here in Florida, right? Alligators. Okay, we got 1 more type of reptile to go, and we'll have all 4, and then I'll bring out that animal. Hold all answer at once. All right, I'll give you a really good clue. This animal carries its home on its back. Turtles and tortoises, there we go. I knew I could get all 4 answers out of you somehow. But let's bring out that lizard, okay? This lizard is a very cool looking animal. There he is. This is called a blue-tongued skink. That's S-K-I-N-K. Now a skink is a type of lizard. And this particular one, this blue-tongued skink, they come from Australia, the land down under. Now in Australia, these guys are very, very common. If you have a backyard out there in Australia, you probably have one of these guys living in your backyard. Pretty common over there. Now, who thinks this would make a really, really cool pet? Raise your hand. Alright, usually it's the small kids' hands that go up, that's right. I'm not saying this is a bad or good pet, that's really up to you, because you know what? These guys can be found in pet stores depending on where you live. But before you get any kind of pet, what are you supposed to do? Very important thing. The word begins with an R. Anybody know what that word is? Research. Ah, the big kids usually get that one right. Research. Very good. You have to do your research before you get any kind of pet. Very important thing to do. You have to know what kind of food it's going to eat, what kind of environment it needs to live in. Here's one that people don't think of. How long the animal is going to live. See this blue-tongued skink I'm holding? He can live around 15 to 20 years. Pretty long for a lizard, right? Yeah, pretty impressive. So let's say you got this blue-tongued skink when you were a kid and you went off to school. Guess who has to take care of him when you're gone? Usually the big kids, that's right. Maybe they don't even like reptiles. So we have to make sure that decision's okay with everyone. Very important thing to do. Do your research before you get any kind of pet. Now, since you guys are so patient, we're going to have a really fun part of the show. Who wants to touch this blue-tongued skink? I knew you wanted to. All right, we're going to get a chance to do that. We got a couple of rules that we're going to have to follow before we touch the skink. We're just going to go over those rules. Now, if you just want to touch the skink, the blue-tongued skink on his back or his tail, I'm going to show everybody how we're going to do it. Just very gently, just like that, just on his back or tail. Now, after we're done touching, we got some hand cleaner right over here. That's right. Marian's going to have that right over here. Why won't I do? You're supposed to do that. All right. You're going to go visit her after you're done touching the skink. You're going to get a squirt of that, rub your hands really quick together with that stuff, and it'll be clean and dry. Absolutely no water or paper towels necessary. Pretty cool stuff. We call it magic stuff. Alright, now the first person I want to touch the skink, someone who's never touched the reptile before and wants to try. No volunteers. You guys all touched reptiles? Yeah? Wow, that's pretty impressive. Alright, since you guys all touched reptiles, we're just gonna make a line. Why don't you be first? Because I saw your hand go up first. That's right. We're all gonna line up behind her, okay? Alright, remember how I told you to touch the skink? Remember? Okay. Good job. Now after you're done touching, don't forget to get the hand clean. Right there, over there. If you guys want to see more reptiles, we have a whole room full of reptiles down the hallway right behind you here. Past our surgery site room. You can actually see our veterinarians working on some of our animals in that room. We actually have a procedure going on right now as I speak. You can go check it out from Australia.
Is its tongue blue?
His tongue is really blue. It's like he ate a blue Slurpee.
Wow, it's really scaly. What's that right there?
Those are the ears.
That's a box that he carries in.
See that?
Don't forget to get your hands clean. You're right behind you. Once you're all done. I don't think she's done yet.
I know, thank you. I know,
Is it like type of a snake or something?
He's a reptile, but he's not a snake. Snakes don't have any arms and legs, right? And snakes don't have any ears.
I didn't know that.
And you know what? Snakes don't have any eyelids. They can't blink. They can't close their eyes. This guy can close his eyes if he wanted to, because he has eyelids. You can touch the blue-tongued skink just on his back or tail very gently. One at a time you want to touch, okay? One at a time. And then after you're done touching, we have some hand cleaner on this side for you. Good job. Kind of feels like a basketball to me.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Just want to touch his back or his tail very gently. This is a blue-tongued skink. They're a type of lizard from Australia. And you can, after you're done touching, we got some hand cleaner on this side for you. Marion has that. Don't be scared. This is a blue-tongued skink. They're a type of lizard from Australia. You're actually welcome to touch him very gently, just on his back and tail here.
You want to touch him?
And then after you're done, we got some hand cleaner. My friend Phil is passing that out for you.
You gotta touch him very just right on his back.
Does he really have a blue tongue?
He really has a blue tongue. It's the same color as if you ate a blue Slurpee.
Very nice and very gently.
Don't want to touch his head, just his back and tail.
Okay. You're gonna go wash your hands.
After we're all done, we're going to see Phil over here. He has some hand cleaner for you. Well, this guy pretty much knows when he's on the table he's going to get touched. He's pretty cooperative with it. Feels like a basketball to me.
Touch him? Touch?
Good job.
Wow. Wow.
We got some hand cleaner for you right behind you.
That's right. Put your hand up. Rub your hands together. Rub your hands together, please. Very
Good job.
Very good at that. Okay, that's going all good. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. He is called a blue. Feels like a basketball though.
You must feel about like the snakes.
He's actually a lot harder than the snakes.
Oh.
Pretty cool looking though. See his little ears? Look, he's got little ears.
Those are his ears on the side of his head.
Easy to relax it.
He's inside. He's open. Got someone else. It's our blue tongue skink. You can touch him. After you're done touching him, you got some hand cleaner right over there.
What should they weigh?
Not much at all. He might weigh maybe.
Looks big.
He's full grown. This is as big as they're gonna get.
Room full of amphibians, another one full of reptiles, and a third room full of those creepy, crawly invertebrates. A lot of cool stuff, right? You guys like reptiles? Yeah? There's all like reptiles? There's like 2 people that like reptiles. Well, you know what? Today I brought out a reptile, but before I start, I want you guys to guess. There are 4 main groups of reptiles. Can you guys name the 4 main groups? Lizards, very good. Snakes, another one, very good. What's that? Frogs are amphibians. They kind of go hand in hand, reptiles, but alligators and crocodiles, very good. One more. Who's what's that? How did you know turtle? Oh, he sold you that one. That's right, so we have snakes, lizards, turtles, and tortoises, and those big crocodilians. Now I have one of those animals right here in the box. What could it be? You think it's a snake? Did she tell you that too? It is a snake. Now is anyone here afraid of snakes besides me? Really? No, stick around. Oh, you're gonna call it out too. It's okay though, it's okay. This is a very cool snake. I actually encourage you guys, if you are afraid of snakes, just to stick around, learn a little bit more about them, find out that they're really cool animals, and they're actually very helpful. They actually help us out every day. So let me just get the snake out here. One moment. Alright, let's see. Oh, there was a snake in here. Maybe it's I'm just kidding. That's a horrible joke. Alright, so let me start over again here. And show my buddy, Bachi. Bachi, alright. Does anybody know what kind of snake this is though? What was a good guess? Any other guesses? It is a python, that's right. This is a python. It's actually called a ball python, but it's a little different from most pythons. Normally you think of a python, you think of a very big snake, right? Something huge. This one's actually full grown. They don't get very large. It's a full grown ball python. Now, if you guys have been down the hallway in the yellow room, we actually have a Burmese python. She's 13.5 feet long and she's only half grown. So she'll get well over 20 feet. So that's a pretty big python. But ball pythons, like I said, full grown at about 4 or 5 feet, so not very big. Now, do you guys know of any ways to tell if a snake is venomous just by looking at it? Anybody know? Diamond patterns, right? The shape of the head, is that what you said? Any other ways to tell? Try the fangs. Alright. There's some good ones. We have head-shaped patterns. Sometimes we hear colors as well. Yeah, the fact that I'm holding it should all be ways to tell this is not a venomous snake, right? But you know what? There's really no one good way to tell if a snake is venomous. All the ways we just mentioned, there's exceptions to all those rules, so it gets kind of tricky. For example, head shape works well with rattlesnakes. They do have a nice triangular shaped head. But there's also some non-venomous snakes that can flatten their head out, make it look a different shape, so that's kind of confusing. And as far as colors and patterns go, who knows what 3 colors makes up a coral snake? Anybody know? Red, black, and yellow. Very good. Red, black, and yellow are the normal 3 colors of a coral snake. And I say normal because in South Florida, they've actually found coral snakes that were all black. They had no red, no yellow in them. And that can be kind of confusing, right? If you're looking for a snake with 3 colors, you come across one that's all black, you might not think it was a coral snake, but it turns out it was. So the best thing to do if you guys see a snake in the wild, just let it be. Just leave them alone. It's the safest thing for you and the safest thing for the snake, right? Because the snake doesn't want to be picked up and messed with, and they're actually very helpful. They help us out every day. Who knows what snakes do to help us out? Eat rats, right? What else do they eat? What did you say? Did you just say the M word for snake food at Disney? Do you know who my boss is? Big ears? No? Big ears? Mickey? yeah, he's not snake food. He's a protected species. Yeah, but they help us out by eating rodents. They help us out every day by eating rodents, which is good because rodents can be pretty damaging to the environment. They can spread diseases to people, about 15 different types of diseases, and they can also damage a lot of crops. But snakes do neither. They don't damage crops, they don't spread diseases, they actually help us by eating the rodents. Now this one, like I said, is called a ball python. They're pretty common in the pet stores. You might be able to find them there. You might even know someone that has one. But can you guys guess how long this snake can live for? How old do you think? 30 years, a good guess. Any other guesses? 20 years, another good one. Any other ones? 50, 40. These are all really good guesses. Now this snake right here is about 23 years old, but he is not our oldest ball python. We actually have another one that's about 33 years old, and they can live for over 40. That's a pretty long-lived snake, right? Long-lived time to have a pet, right? You get him as a baby 40 years down the road, you might have that same pet snake. So it's always a good idea to really research your snake or pet before you get him. Learn a little bit about him, make sure it's the right pet before you get him. Because that really helps out those animals. Now you guys look like a crowd that likes to help out animals, right? No. Alright. Well, if anyone here is willing to help out animals or like to, Dawn over here is showing off Disney's Wildlife Conservation Fund. It's a really cool fund that Disney actually puts out there. That any money you guys donate gets matched by Disney. Disney pays for all the funds, so 100% of your donation actually goes to the Wildlife Conservation Fund. And you get a really cool button. So probably the cheapest souvenir you'll get all day while helping endangered animals. So it's a great fund. If anyone's interested, Don will be over here taking any questions and any greatly appreciated donations. But before I finish, I want to do something special. Has anyone here never touched a snake before and would like to try it for the very first time? I need one volunteer who has never ever touched a snake. Have you never touched a snake, bud? You want to be my volunteer? Alright, the rest of you guys will get a chance in 1 second. I just need one volunteer. Just touch it nice and gentle. How was that, bud? Does that feel pretty cool? Come on back, bud. Does it feel wet and slimy? You think it feels dry? Yeah, there you go. That's what I was going for. The snakes are never wet and slimy. They don't sweat or produce any oil, so they're nice and dry, right? And each one of those little scales are made out of the same stuff your fingernails are made out of. It's called keratin. That's pretty cool, right? Yes. Now you want to wash your hands, bud, and I got something special for you. Since you are our first volunteer, you get a really cool button, and everyone's going to give you a big round of applause for being so brave. Alright. Now for the rest of you guys who want to touch the snake, I think some people are pretty eager. What we're going to do is we're actually going to start a line right here, going that direction. So just kind of line up right here. When we're all done touching the snake, we want to get some hand cleaner. And we want to touch nice and gentle. And we want to stay away from the snake's head. And why is that? That's where the teeth are. It is nice and dry, right? Alright.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Nice, huh?
Be gentle.
Oh, don't squeeze, sweetie.
Okay, come on.
Now you want to wash your hands over here, princess.
Right over here. Good job.
Big kids can touch too. All big kids can touch too.
What does it feel like?
It's nice and smooth, right?
Not too much like
Yeah, snakes are not slimy like people say. They're very smooth and dry. Hey guys, we got a line going on back here, guys. You guys want to come on over and get some hand cleaner over here? It's nice and soft, right? Nice and smooth. Yeah, that's how they're built. Nice, huh?
Oh, he is really soft.
Cool, huh? There you go.
Like your
She doesn't weigh too much. I mean,
I held her myself and wrapped her all around me, but she's just awkward for safety. It's usually 3. It's the magic number. And did you guys see our? We have about 7 foot boa, and then the green tree python is fairly new too.
It's all the reptile.
What's that?
I want a reptile.
Yeah, they're cool.
How old is that?
That one is about I want to say 9 or 10.
It doesn't take that long for them to get there.
What's that?
It doesn't take that long for them to get there.
No, but some of the ages are kind of hard here when we get them from other institutions too. But I want to say she was here around 2002.
What kind is that?
This is a ball python. Ball python. See you guys. Take it easy, man.
Are rattlesnakes colors those same colors?
Some may be, but you can't go by colors or patterns or any of the typical ways you've heard to tell if a snake is venomous. You can't go by them because there's too many variations, there's too many exceptions to the rules. It gets kind of confusing. So the best thing I always recommend is just leave them alone. Wouldn't try to hurt them either because most people that get bit by a venomous snake is when they're trying to hurt or kill us. So best thing is just let them be. They're great to have around, venomous or not. They help the environment by eating rodents. So regardless of having venom, there's very important animals to have around.
How old is that snake?
This one, he's about 23. So 23 years old. But
So his species just doesn't grow.
yeah, not all pythons get very large. He is a good example of one that maxes out about 4 or 5 feet. But we have one that's 33 years old in our collection as well. But he's cool. He's my buddy.
Y'all named his snake?
His name is Bachi. Bachi the ball python. It's as creative as we get. Nice, huh? This is a ball python, so you can say you touched a python today. It's a good day when you get to touch a python, right? Did you feel this? You can feel it too. Feels nice, right? Not bad. You're a big fan of snakes?
Really?
They're cool. Right, Vanessa? Right. I can think. I don't know.
Where's
A lot more than you realize. I think he likes you guys. Well, right now there's no more snakes to pet. I mean, we have more snakes in the building that you guys can see. Some bigger ones too. Did you see we have a boa constrictor in the corner? A green tree python in the same corner, a big 13.5-foot Burmese python, and a few other assorted snakes down the hallway too.
Let's go look at the snake, shall we?
So what's the name? pounds, eh? It comes down to. That's me.
Again, if you do want to join us, feel free to come on over and check us out. Right in the center of the building, below that skylight, is our stage. Hi, you can have a seat right on the left. Are you guys having fun today? Yeah, cool. My microphone's not fitting quite lovely. There we go. Hi guys, feel free again to come on over. We're only going to be out a relatively short time. Our exhibits will be here all day.
Yeah, and there was one just like this. With its head like
Okay,
this.
we'll go ahead and get started. My name is AJ. I am one of the animal keepers here at Rafikis Planet Watch. We have the coolest area in the entire park. Now on a cold day like this, that may not seem like the biggest draw, but honestly, we do have a really neat collection. We have something for everyone. We have warm fuzzy mammals. Who likes those? Yay for warm fuzzies. Woo! We have the sheep and goats out in affection section. They love to be petted and brushed. One of the only places in the entire park where you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to touch an animal. We also have the cotton-top tamarins and some other mammals that do presentations throughout the day that are on exhibit for you to see. We have birds. Who likes birds? I'm going to raise both hands because I'm a little bird biased. We have some wonderful birds of prey and some parrots that do presentations throughout the day as well. Really neat animals. Inside this nice, warm, toasty building, we have our wonderful exhibits over there. We have amphibians. Who likes frogs, toads, salamanders, newts? Pretty neat, right? And we're not just talking about Kermit here. He's pretty cool. We have some really neat species. It's the Year of the Frog for the American Zoo Aquarium Association. Kind of a neat push for amphibian conservation. A lot of times when we think about endangered species, we're thinking of larger things like, tigers or polar bears or, big things, but little Panamanian golden frogs need some help too. So, little information about them. Hi guys. If you do want to join us, we are doing a presentation. Feel free to come on over and join us if you'd like. We also have the creepy crawlies, things like scorpions, tarantulas. Who likes those? Thank you. Sometimes I'm awfully lonely when I ask that question. So, not often do people raise their hands for that for some reason. We have cockroaches. They're kind of cute. They're found in Madagascar. But we have a lot of different creepy crawlies for you to check out as well. And whether or not you appreciate them, we can appreciate the job they do, right? But I'm going to talk about the last category. Who likes reptiles? Woohoo! Yay! I'm still not getting a lot of hands on that, Now, when you think about it, there are 4 main groups of reptiles alive today that people think of. What's one group? What's one group? Snakes. Snakes. That's the first group most people tend to think of, too, for some strange reason. We have indigos, boas, pythons, milk snakes, king snakes, all kinds of snakes in our collection. What's another group?
Of reptiles.
Of reptiles, yeah.
Reptiles. What other kind of reptiles?
I thought I heard you say something like turtles or something earlier, right? Turtles and tortoises. We have some of those, some endangered species, even like the yellow margin box turtles, Egyptian tortoises, even gopher tortoises are endangered now. How about you think of Florida, you think of what? Frogs are amphibians, but that's a great answer. What do you think? Crocodiles and alligators, right? Crocodilians. We have those guys represented by our baby alligators, so pretty cool. Last but not least, what's the last group? We've got alligators and, crocodilians, snakes, turtles and tortoises, lizards. We have everything from like a 7-foot long water monitor, his name's Jack Jack, pretty cool, to things like prehensile tail skink, blue-tongued skink, spiny-tailed lizard, bearded dragon, all kinds of lizards. But I didn't bring a lizard with me today. I didn't bring a crocodilian with me today, and I didn't bring a turtle or a tortoise. What did I bring? A snake. That was not said with the greatest of enthusiasm. Who's a little nervous about snakes? That is fine. I am going to be staying up here with the snake unless something goes horribly awry, and then I'll join the screaming masses. But we've been doing this a long time, and this is one of my favorite snakes to talk about. He is just a little guy. He's just a little guy. Yay, some enthusiasm. Now we're going to start with the basics. Venomous or non-venomous? Non-venomous, thank you. I am very casually holding this animal. You know, if it were venomous, Anne would be bringing it out here, and I'd be a whole lot more careful. So he is not a venomous snake, but before I tell you what he is, he's actually a snake that's going to mimic a venomous snake. He has kind of a blotchy pattern, and if he feels threatened, he's going to rattle his tail in the leaf litter. He has a specially designed little scale on the end of his tail that rattles really well. And he'll flatten his head out and hiss really loudly. What do you think he's mimicking? A rattlesnake, very good. So this guy though is not a rattlesnake, he is what is known as a Florida pine snake. You guys can feel free to fill in, there's room on the carpeted area, come around. Make yourselves comfy. We've been doing this for a while, he's perfectly good up here, he's not going to go walk about or anything like that. But this is a Florida pine snake. They are a threatened species here in Florida. One of the things with that, he's kind of at the beginning of a slippery slope. When you think about it, after threatened comes what? Endangered. What happens after endangered? Extinct. You know, so he's kind of at the beginning of this, and there are some reasons for that. And there are some things we can do to help him out. Now, the biggest thing for these guys is they kind of lost their homes because we were building ours. And people don't tend to see them. They can spend up to 85% of their time underground. Now, these will live in the same burrows as gopher tortoises, which are, again, an endangered species. For much the same reason, they've lost their homes too. So a lot of times people don't see him. He does eat something that lives in burrows. So he'll spend some time chasing those down and sometimes living in that burrow and that. So most of the time when people see them, they're out sunning or something like that. These are ectotherms. They are going to take on the temperature that's around us. In other words, if it's 60 degrees out, he's going to be a very cold 60 degrees. If it's 90 degrees out, he's going to be moving a lot faster and a little happier about it. So he is not necessarily cold-blooded, but ectotherm is the term they're using now, and it just means he takes on the temperature around him. And the cool thing about some of those burrows is they're deep enough they can stay about 72 degrees year-round. So pretty cushy, right? You know, it works pretty well for him. Now, having said that, what do you think he's going to be eating? Rodents, very good. And I'm so glad you used that word because you know who my boss is, right? Some of y'all might have been thinking about a word beginning with M. But out of consideration for the big cheeses, we do refer to snake food and bird of prey food as rodents around here. So he is going to eat lots of rodents. In fact, one of his favorite foods would be something called a pocket gopher. Which, if you're from Florida, you're probably familiar with them. They tend to tunnel underneath your grass, eating the root, and then they put these nice mounds of dirt out on your lawn as they're killing your yard. So they have a great job out there. They're part of that pest management, but they'll also eat some other rodents as well, which is good for us too, because what do rodents do that's bad for us? Any guesses? Okay, who has heard of the Black Plague? Boy, they start teaching you young these days, my goodness. She's just raising her hand. The Black Plague was something that went through Europe, took out a third of Europe, but a couple hundred years ago, still out there today. Rodents were vectors for it. There's also hantavirus, typhus, a few lovely things that can make you sick or even kill you. So lots of diseases out there that rodents spread. Also, who likes to eat? You like lots of food. How about cereal or toast in the morning? Yeah, pretty good. How about pizza? Good crust on pizza, right? Chicago or New York, equal opportunity eater right here. It's good stuff. How about, for you adults, some malted beverages on a hot day, right? You know, all of that comes from our brains, from our crops. And you might think a rodent here, a rodent there is not a big deal, but in honesty, you know, you can have lots of rodents in a very short time. In fact, a coworker of mine did some research and she found if you had 2 rats, a boy and a girl, and they had all the food, water, and shelter they needed, and no predators, no diseases, no parasites to take their numbers down, at the end of 18 months, you had a really large number of rats. Anyone want to take a guess how many? Thousands? It's about 1 million, actually, at the end of 18 months, a year and a half, because they have babies, the babies have babies, the babies' babies have babies, and the first ones are still having more babies, so lots and lots of offspring. So when you think about that, it's good to have something out there like snakes, right? They help us with that pest management. Also things like, let's see, hawks, owls, foxes, coyotes, all these guys really help us out and they've got great jobs. But how do we normally get rid of our rodent problem? What do we use? Traps. Also, poisons, right? Now, does a trap always catch what you're going for? No. Who's gotten their fingers caught in a trap? Yeah, no, I'm the only one today. I actually had a cousin who was crawling under my grandmother's sofa and got his toe pinched one time. That was fun. Traps are made. I laughed. You know, I know it was sad for him, but you know, traps will go off regardless of what it is that sets them off. So realistically, it could be toes, child's fingers, cat's paws, anything like that. It can set off a trap. Glue traps stick to anything, so that doesn't always work. How about those poisons? What do you think is going to happen to little Noodle here, our pine snake, if he eats a poison rodent? That's his last meal, right? Same thing for a hawk or an owl. We've just killed them, right? That's not what we're going for. So he does natural pest management. Now I know a lot of you are like, you know, the only good snake is a dead snake. I cannot tell you in the number of years I've been doing this how many times I've heard that. But there's a really simple fact. Dead snakes don't eat rodents. You know, and you're not helping yourself out by killing them, honestly. Even venomous snakes, you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone, and they eat rodents for you. It's a pretty good deal. And there's some other things we don't always appreciate. For example, how many of you like spiders? There weren't a lot of hands for it the first time. So everyone loves to have, you know, flies invading your picnic, right? No, not so much, right? We have to have something to take care of the flies. How about, who likes bats? Yeah? A few hands for bats, but the rest of y'all like them a little better if you knew they could eat 600 mosquitoes in an hour or their own body weight in one night. Yay for bats, right? I don't know if you're from Florida, but we need a few more around here, I'm telling you. So definitely, you know, we need to have those animals out there. Whether we truly love the animal or not, you can appreciate the job they do. And our job is just as important. We have to help everybody else out. Now, when you think about it, how can I help out a snake? You know what? Leave it alone. You leave it alone, it leaves you alone, and it's a nice live and let live world, and you get pest management. The other thing, though, too, is to choose your pets wisely. How many of you have seen snakes in the pet store? Yeah? How about, who thinks a snake would make a good pet? Yeah? Who thinks not such a good pet? Who has never thought of snake and pet in the same sentence? It's always out there, you know? You can find just about anything these days for a pet. You can go online, you can find things at flea markets, pet stores, breeders, whatever. Just because it's out there doesn't always mean it's going to be the best pet for you. You have to do your research. This guy right here, he's going to live to be about 18 to 25 years old. He's going to max out at about 5 feet in length. There are snakes that get a lot bigger than that though. And some of them look like snakes that stay smaller. For example, if you see a python in the store, right? How many of you have seen pythons? Yeah? There are ball pythons, Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons, amethystine pythons, carpet pythons, all kinds of pythons out there. And if you confuse them, it gets really kind of scary because, for example, a ball python is going to get to be about 5 feet long. A Burmese python is going to get to be 20 to 25 feet long. That's a big difference. That is the difference between having the nice enclosure in your living room or just letting the snake have the whole living room for the enclosure. That's a big difference, right? And you can't trust someone else to give you the right information. You have to do your own research. I walked into a pet store, it's no longer in business, a few years ago, and I saw a beautiful reticulated python hatchling. He wasn't very big at all. And the sign on the enclosure said, will reach 5 feet. Do you happen to know how what their claim to fame is?
It's like the second longest 6 feet in the world.
Yeah, but they're actually the largest by length. Yeah. Yep. The record was close to 33 feet. So I asked to speak to the manager, and he came out and he's like, I said, I think your sign might be a little misleading. And he goes, it's not false advertising. And I looked at him, I said, no sir, it isn't. I said, someone's going to get that snake, is going to get to be 5 feet in the first couple of years, and then someone's going to be very unhappy. And all he did was shrug. He honestly didn't care. He just wanted to sell that animal. And incidentally, having worked with reticulated pythons, they don't always have the nicest of temperaments. So, you know, have a 30-plus foot long snake that's really grumpy isn't everyone's idea of a good time anyhow. So choose your pets wisely. Do your own research. In the case of a lot of reptiles, people were taking them out of the wild for pets. And you don't really want that either. Wild snakes don't make good pets. You want to get a snake from a reputable breeder. You want to know how big it's going to get. There are no vegetarian snakes. We've already discovered they eat rodents, right? So this is one of those things. Now here at Disney, we do feed previously frozen rodents. We just thaw them and let them warm up to room temperature, and then we offer them on tongs. You know, for some of you, if you're going for that late night ice cream snack, that could be a great deterrent to see the box of frozen rodents next to your ice cream. But, you know, it's one of those things you don't necessarily want to feed a live rodent, because what happens if your snake isn't hungry and the rodent is? There are people who have lost their pet snakes because the rodents have chewed on their snakes. I worked at a vet's office. It's one of the saddest things I ever saw. So you really have to do your research, know what your animal's needs are going to be before you get it home. Even dogs and cats, right? Who has a dog? Yay for dogs. Who likes to walk the dog? Who likes to play with the dog? Who likes to clean up the yard after the dog? Do you just get paid to do it, or do you really like cleaning up?
I really like
You really? Wow, can you come to my house? Anyway, so some people may, but a lot of people don't really like that. How about who has a cat? Yay for cats. Who likes to play with their cat? Brush their cat? Who likes to clean the litter box? Not so much, right? But that's one of those things. You have a litter box, you gotta clean it. It's one of those things. So all animals have their own needs, and whatever the animal is going to need is what you have to provide. So choose your pets wisely, and then you'll have the right pet for your life and your lifestyle. Now what we're going to do is give you guys a chance to touch Noodle. Who thinks that sounds like fun? Yay. Hold on just a second. There's a couple of little rules, okay? First of all, he's only about a year and a half old. And he can feel every finger that we put on him, just like if you were to touch your arm. You can feel that, right? He can feel every finger we put on him. So we're not going to pinch him, hit him, poke him, smack him, or anything like that. We wouldn't like it. He's not going to like it. So we touch him very gently on his back end. Anything going at his head would scare him. And we don't want to scare him. He's been really good to come out with us today. So we're going to touch him very gently. And then after touching, we're going to see Marion for some hand cleaner. And it's always a good idea to wash your hands after touching any animal, but you can think of Noodle as the handrail everyone's been touching today. So again, after touching, you get some hand cleaner. Big kids can play too, same rules apply. I do need one volunteer who has never touched a snake before. You've never touched a snake before? Okay, your hand went up first for that, so come right over here. What's your name? JC, where are you visiting from, JC? Where do you live? Neptune Beach, you're from Florida. Cool, well welcome to Disney. Now you heard the rules, right? Cool, so you're going to touch very gently on the back end, and I have a really important question to ask you. Is he slimy? He's not slimy at all, is he? His scales are actually made out of the same thing our hair and fingernails are made out of. It's all keratin. So they're not slimy at all, that's just a myth and a misconception. And then after touching, what's the second part? We get the hand cleaner. So you come right on over and get some hand cleaner. And for doing such a great job, everyone's going to give you a nice round of applause for showing how to do this. And I'm going to give you a special button with a snake on it. Thanks so much. Now for the next group, if you do want to line up right over here, thanks so much for showing us how to do that. And everyone will have a chance. Again, big kids can play too. Y'all don't have to hang out on the outskirts there. We do appreciate your time and attention today, and we hope you have a wild adventure here at Animal Kingdom. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Gentle, Mom.
Good job. Did you get it? Okay. That was good. That's not the fastest touch I've seen, though. Trust me.
Nothing needs to get it.
There we go.
Let me have a hand
Come hand cleaner. Hand cleaner. Oh, Jane, you're really. What size? They get to be about 6 feet long, and they'll be about 18 to 25 years for their lifespan, too. And we've got some hand cleaner for you. Enough the head. Remember the rules? On the back. You don't want to scare us. He's done a great job for coming out today. Good job, buddy. Big kids can play too.
I just want to take a look. You've never seen a pine snake.
This is the Florida pine snake. And the blotchy coloration is very normal. They also have what are called field scales. If you look, he has like a ridge in the middle of each scale. And as he gets older, those scales are going to be larger, and you'll notice a difference in texture. That they're a little more rough right now. He's still a young guy, so he's really soft. And his name's Noodle. When he came to us from another zoo. We didn't take him from the wild. So when he came to us, he was thin like a pencil, and someone thought he looked like a little noodle. There are no plans to upgrade him to lasagna when he gets bigger. So. Just one of those things. They are threatened species. Yep. And also pocket over. Yep, you can touch gently. You're welcome. And then we've got some hand cleaner for you over there. I know you've touched already, guys, so we're going to let some other people touch. If you can touch too, very gentle. He's a good boy. And then we've got some hand cleaner for you too, right over there with Mary. The scales as he gets older will become more and more rough. And he does have that specialized scale on the end of the scale. It rattles really well in the leaflet.
At least he doesn't bite.
He still has all his teeth and everything, obviously, but he's been doing this for most of his life. He's about 1.5 years now, and he came to us at just a few months old. So he's been doing this for a long time. And snakes are only going to bite for the same 2 reasons any other animal's going to bite: to defend themselves and get their food. I don't smell like his food, and I'm not doing anything that makes him feel like he has to defend himself. So no reason for him to bother. And then after touching, you get some hand cleaner.
Hand cleaner.
Good job! And then the hand cleaner.
Yep.
You can touch very gently, or did you just want a picture of him? You just want a picture of him? Let's see if we can pose him. And he has a black little tongue. Now, you know what they're for? His tongue is sort of like smelling and tasting all at the same time. Can you imagine if it went, smells like pizza? Wouldn't that be kind of weird? But it works for him. He has a special organ in his head called the Jacobson's organ. So his tongue comes out, collects those particles, and then it processes all that information. And if, for example, food were on this side, it's going to be like, the scent's stronger over here, I'm going to go this way. So when you hear things like speaking with forked tongue, it has nothing to do with lying or anything like that, you know, for snakes. They're just sniffing what's out on the one side that's stronger than the other. They also have no external ears and no eyelids. They just have one scale that covers each eye. If you haven't touched yet, you can come over and touch very gently. About 1.5 years for him. He's going to live to be 18, gently on the back end. He'll live to be about 18 to 25. Good job, guys. And then we've got some hand cleaner for you. Very gentle. His scales are made out of the same thing hair and fingernails are made out of, so it's all keratin. Thank you. And then we've got some hand cleaner for you. It's a good idea to wash your hands after touching any animal, but these are the hand rail that you kiss the touch. So since you touched, you would want to get that. Do you have any questions, sir?
No.
I'm sure you can.
Where are you visiting from?
Brooklyn. What part of New York is
That's upstate New York.
Like where is it?
Syracuse is the closest big
Like
airport. Yeah, and that's still 2 hours drive north from there. So I fly into Syracuse and then it's still 2 hours home.
So you are like north of city.
Yeah, like Syracuse is here, Watertown's here, Lovell's up here. So I grew up about an hour from the border.
I see.
If you'd like, you can touch very
We got a
gently.
brown mamba here, or just...
No. I wouldn't bring out a venomous snake for you to touch. You can touch gently on the back end. This is our Florida pine snake. His name is Noodle. And then after touching, we do have some hand cleaner for you because he's sort of the handrail a bunch of kids have been touching.
It's good dog.
So,
He could be mistaken for a copperhead a little bit, except for the head's not copper.
and his coloration's a little bit more subdued tan.
Yeah.
But he is a threatened species here in Florida. And his biggest claim to fame is that he will try to mimic rattlesnakes. So he'll rattle his tail in the leaf litter. So he sheds his skin every couple of months because he's still a growing boy. They average about 3 to 5 feet. You can see he's about 3 feet now. So he's going to get a thicker body as he gets older. You know, they'll just, you can think of him as a teenager. He's getting the length, but not really bulked up yet. So it works pretty well.
And you know, mongoose and the king cobra in that box.
No. I forgot my flute. I guess we're in trouble. You know, it's my charm.
Thank you. Good
You're
punching.
welcome. You have a great day.
You can come on over and touch her if you'd like to. And I'll talk a little bit about her as you touch her. If you'd like to, just touch the back end very, very gently here. Yeah, right over here. Do you know what kind of snake this is? No, do you know what kind? This is a pine snake. We just had a smaller pine snake out here. But this is called a northern pine snake. This is from New Jersey in the Pine Barrens there. They get to be about 7 or 8 feet long, and this one has some very cool scales that look a lot like pine cone in appearance, a little bit like a pine cone. So very rough in appearance. The line down the middle of each scale, those are called keels, so they're keeled scales, so they're very similar to what a rattlesnake would have. So a lot of animals and people will look at the snake and think she's a rattlesnake. You can go ahead and touch, sure you can. Just back here, away from her face, there you go. Oh yeah. Now she has very cool orange coloring here, and that helps her blend in very well with dried up pine needles, and she's a pine snake found around pine trees. She really blends in so well with all of those pine needles.
Want a picture of you touching it?
You would just never see her underneath all that. Great. Now usually pine snakes go for snakes and bull snakes. They're all from the same group, so usually they have the front half of the snake patterned differently than the tail, and this one's definitely like that. The belly scales are totally flat and very, very smooth, and you can come up and touch those too if you'd like to. Very, very smooth. They feel like plastic.
You want to touch his belly?
You feel the belly. So smooth under there.
His belly under here.
So smooth.
Oh wow.
And this is a female. She's about 15 years old. She's been doing this her whole life, so she's very used to people touching her. She originally came from the Baltimore Zoo. She hatched there, so she's never been outside in the wild or anything like that. So a wild snake would never let you do this, probably. Yeah, go right ahead. Touch her. Just be very, very gentle. Now, before you go, though, we do have hand cleaner right over here. We'll wash your hands off when you're all done. Excellent. Now, they do have bones. A lot of people don't think snakes have bones, but they sure do.
Just touch where she's
Yeah, she's a little bit ticklish on the tail, and snakes don't like their head touched, so we're only going to touch the body part right back here. Make sure you don't poke or squeeze her, though, because they can feel that when you touch, so very, very gentle. Now, why do snakes stick their tongue out? Why do they do that? She's smelling with her tongue. So every time air sticks to that little tongue, it goes back inside her mouth, and she puts it on the roof of her mouth. There's a special organ there, and that tells her what she's smelling. So she can easily smell the difference between a whole bunch of people like us versus something she would like to eat, like a rat or something like that. And she would be able to smell a rat from pretty far away. I could go hide a rat way over there, and she would know that it's in the room. Very cool.
Is it true if your house brands are not poisonous?
That's not true at all. I don't know of any snakes that don't have round eyes.
How does a yellow, red, and black
Oh no, well that's a coral snake line. Red touching yellow could kill a fellow. Red touching black, venom black. That works for a coral snake. If you're trying to identify coral snakes from other banded snakes, this isn't even a banded snake, so it wouldn't work for this because it's not from that group at all. So if you want to tell a coral snake from others, that rhyme mostly works for the most part in the United States.
Let's get someone else to turn, okay?
But what's thing to do if you see snakes out there, just leave them alone. They're really scared of people. Now she's not, because she's been handled her whole life, which is about 15 years, so she's very used to that.
Okay, not on the tail though.
You can touch her. Very gentle. But before you go, we got paint cleaner right over here. There you go. She's from the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, also as far south as northern Alabama and over to Tennessee. So pretty big range. Now the snake that was just out here is a Florida pine snake. They're pretty different. The same basic snake. She has even the same markings, just slightly different colors, and they're quite a bit smaller too. The scales are actually made of the same material as your fingernails. Same thing. So snakes are never slimy. They don't even sweat. They don't secrete anything from their skin. They're dry. So that's a myth that snakes are slimy. They're never slimy. Pretty cool. All right. Don't forget your hand cleaner there. Yeah, come on over. Come on over, you guys. We have a snake here that you can touch. Just be very, very gentle. Touch her only on her back part here, away from her cute little face. You don't want to touch her face. So right back here, she does feel kind of bumpy because of her scales. They're called keeled scales, so they stick up a lot more than like a boa or a python or something like that. So they do feel quite different. This is a northern pine snake. They're found in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, also as far south as northern Alabama and over to Tennessee. So pretty big range, but they're not seen very often because they're usually underground. They eat a lot of the rodents that you find underground. The color here blends in so well with dried up pine needles, you may never see her underneath all that leaf litter. So they're found in pine forests, not up in the trees, but under the trees, in all the litter.
Are they dangerous?
Well, they're dangerous to the rats. Now, if you were to see one outside and if you scare it by trying to grab it, sure, it could defend himself and try to bite you just like any animal, but it's not a venomous snake. Most snakes are not venomous at all. 80% of all snakes have no venom at all. She's a constrictor. You know, she would grab hold of her food first, wrap around it, squeeze it, and swallow it whole. Things like rats. She likes rats. Yeah, feel it. It's bumpy. It's bumpy.
Texture to it.
This one does. Now, a lot of snakes are very smooth because she has keeled scales. These are very different than like a boa or a python scales.
So they run this way, do they?
Yes, you should always stroke going towards the tail, because if you accidentally lift up a scale by going backwards, it'd be like lifting up a fingernail. It would pull on the skin and hurt. So it's best just to go towards the tail.
Go with the grain.
Right. And never touch a snake on the head. They're very scared about that. They don't like that. Well, if you think about it, you don't have arms and something is coming at your face is scary. Makes sense.
How old is she?
She's 15. 15 years old. She's been doing this that whole time. Very used to people. These are actually quite aggressive in the wild.
Together there, or you go?
Anybody can touch her before you go. We do have hand cleaner. We'll wash your hands off here before you go. Very good. Great. Don't forget to check out our animal exhibits through the hallways over here. We also have a big boa constrictor back there if you didn't see it. Big boa back here.
She's very cute.
Yeah, about an 8-foot boa.
She's got a cute face.
She does. She's cute. She has pink cheeks.
Yes. Okay, you're welcome.
How you doing? Okay.
Boy, there's nobody else here.
Hi over there. Hello.
They're probably all at the parade. Boy, where is everybody?
I guess the parade's just finishing, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, how long does the parade usually go?
Well, I guess it depends on where you're standing, huh?
Yes, it does.
What part of Connecticut are you?
Enfield.
Where is that?
What's that?
On the line. Mass, Enfield, it's on the line.
Massachusetts.
To Massachusetts.
Yes.
You know the Ag Massachusetts is at the border of Connecticut.
Yes.
So are you near Ag
No, no.
You're east or west of Ag
I don't know.
You know, it used to be called the Riverside Park, but now it's Six Flags New England.
Okay, I haven't been there in a while, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that area.
No. Not either.
I know you're from here.
I was actually born in Massachusetts, but
Oh,
I don't remember
whereabouts?
that. Chicopee at the Air Force Base.
Chicopee, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, you were born in Massachusetts?
But I don't remember because.
But doesn't the city name say the city that you?
That's where your home is, where you call home. I was just born in Massachusetts. It's not my home because I was only there 2 months, maybe.
Oh,
You can touch her. This is a pine snake, northern pine, from New Jersey. Pretty, isn't she? Before you go, wash your hands. We have hand cleaner there.
There you go. Oh, we gotta open it up.
Oh yeah, you do have to open it. Yes, there you go.